The war wasn't lost on the battlefield. It wasn't lost when Karna fell, or when Drona was deceived, or even when Duryodhana's thighs were crushed. The war of the Mahabharata was technically lost on the 9th night, inside a humid, silk-walled tent. It didn't happen by the sword, but by a simple transfer of custody. It is the single greatest what if in the history of Indian mythology. If the sun had risen 10 minutes earlier, or if a certain prince had possessed just an ounce more trust in his own commander, the Pandavas would be dead and the history of Bharat would be unrecognizable. It is the 18th day. The Kurukshetra War is effectively over. The fields are no longer a battleground, they are a wasteland of broken chariots and fallen heroes. The Kaurava army, once an ocean of soldiers, has been annihilated. The great pillars have crumbled. Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all gone. And the architect of this destruction, Prince Duryodhana, has vanished. But he hasn't run in cowardice. He has fled to the bottom of the icy Dwaita lake. He uses ancient yogic powers to suspend his breath, hiding not to save his life, but to escape. He seeks to cool the blistering shame that burns him like hot oil, a torment deeper than any physical wound. To understand the man hiding in that water, we have to look back. We have to understand the boy born into a world he believed was fundamentally unjust. A world where he felt his destiny was stolen before it even began. Driven by this whispering madness, Duryodhana does the unthinkable. He marches to the tent of the most dangerous man on the planet to accuse him of treason. Bhishma is sitting alone. He is an old man carrying the weight of an empire he never wanted. He is exhausted, covered in the dust of battle, meditating to quiet the screams of the thousands he slew that day. When Duryodhana bursts in, he brings the stench of accusation with him. Duryodhana calls Bhishma a hypocrite. He says, "You eat my bread, but you sing their praises. If you cannot kill them, step aside and let Karna take the field." This is the trigger. The insult cuts through Bhishma's armor like a hot knife. For Bhishma, honor is not just a social construct, it is his biology. To be called a traitor by the very man he is protecting breaks his composure. In a moment of cold, terrifying clarity, Bhishma's eyes flare. Bhishma grabs 5 arrows from his quiver. But he doesn't just sharpen them. He begins to chant. He pours a lifetime of tapasya, the accumulated spiritual merit of his celibacy and penance, into these 5 shafts. The air in the tent grows heavy. The temperature drops. The arrows begin to hum with a low, menacing vibration. They turn gold, not from metal, but from the sheer kinetic energy of the mantras locked inside them. Bhishma looks at Duryodhana and speaks the death sentence. These 5 arrows are possessed. They will not miss. Tomorrow, before the sun reaches its zenith, I will end the lineage of Pandu. 1 arrow for each brother. Duryodhana stares at the weapons. They are pulsing. He can feel the heat radiating from them. This is it. The victory he has chased for decades is finally in his hands. But then, the flaw kicks in. The tragic flaw that defines Duryodhana is not ambition, it is mistrust. He looks at Bhishma, and he thinks, if he loves them, he might change his mind. He might neutralize these arrows while I sleep. And so, Duryodhana makes the mistake that ends his life. He reaches out. He says, "I do not doubt your power, grandsire. But I will not burden you with their safety tonight. I will keep these arrows in my tent," Duryodhana demands. "I will return them to you at Sunrise for the slaughter." Bhishma looks at him. The old warrior's rage evaporates, replaced by a profound, sad resignation. He sees the hand of fate. He hands them over. "As you wish," he says. "But bring them at dawn. Do not fail." Duryodhana walks back to his tent, clutching the arrows to his chest, believing he has just outsmarted the world. He has taken the nuclear option out of the silo and put it under his pillow. He feels safe. He doesn't realize he has just walked into a trap that was set years ago, not on a battlefield, but in a forest. To understand what happens next, you have to understand the concept of Rina, or karmic debt. In the Mahabharata, nothing is free. Every action creates a ledger entry. Years ago, in an event known as the Ghoshyatra, Duryodhana went to the forest to mock the Pandavas. It was a vanity project. But he got into a fight with the Gandharvas, celestial warriors who slaughtered his army and took him prisoner. He was bound and humiliated. And who saved him? Not his army. Not Karna. It was Arjuna. Arjuna defeated the Gandharvas and cut Duryodhana loose. The humiliation of being saved by his mortal enemy was so severe that Duryodhana wanted to commit ritual suicide. To save face, he offered Arjuna a boon. A blank check. Ask for anything, he said. And Arjuna, the warrior who didn't need anything from a defeated prince, replied, I will ask for it later. That later is tonight. Krishna knows this. Krishna is the only one awake in the Pandav camp. He senses the shift in the cosmic balance. He knows the arrows exist. He knows they are unstoppable. If those arrows are fired tomorrow, the war ends. Krishna walks into Arjuna's tent and wakes him up. He doesn't tell him to grab his bow. He tells him to grab his memory. The time has come, Krishna says. Go to Duryodhana. Remind him of the Kurukshetra. Collect your debt. Imagine the scene. It is the dead of night. Arjuna, the greatest archer in the world, takes off his armor. He leaves his weapons behind. He walks across the no man's land between the camps. He is walking into a city of enemies who want him dead. But he walks with the confidence of a man holding a royal decree. He reaches Duryodhana's pavilion. The guards are stunned. They let him pass because the code of Kshatriya Dharma is absolute. You cannot attack an unarmed guest, even if he is your worst enemy. Duryodhana is awake, sitting by the fire, guarding the arrows. When he sees Arjuna, he stiffens. He expects an assassination. What do you want? Duryodhana asks. You are bold to come here alone. Arjuna looks him in the eye. I am here for the boon you promised me in the Duryodhana forest. You gave me your word. I am claiming it now. Duryodhana freezes. The realization hits him like a physical blow. The debt. The unpaid ledger. He knows exactly what Arjuna wants. He looks at the 5 golden arrows shimmering by his side. His mind races. He could refuse. He could call the gods and have Arjuna killed. It would be easy. But if he does that, he destroys his dharma. He destroys his standing as a king and a warrior. In the Vedic world, a broken vow is a spiritual suicide more permanent than death. Duryodhana is trapped. He is checkmated by his own ego and his own past. His hands tremble. He hates this. He hates Arjuna more than he loves his own life. But he loves his honor most of all. With a face twisted in agony, Duryodhana picks up the arrows. The victory he craved is right there in his grip. And he hands it over. Take them, he whispers. The debt is paid. As Arjuna turns to leave, Duryodhana asks one final question. Tell me, who told you? Arjuna doesn't need to say the name. He just smiles. Krishna. The aftermath is swift. Duryodhana runs back to Bhishma's tent, frantic. He begs, I lost them. Make another set. But Bhishma looks at the panicked prince and laughs. It is a dry, hollow laugh. You fool, Bhishma says. That was not magic. That was my soul. It was a one-time expenditure. You had victory in your hands, and you gave it away because you could not trust me. The sun rises on the 10th day. The war continues. But the outcome was decided in the dark. The universe has proved that while arrows can kill men, it is the weight of our past actions that decides who survives. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker side of Indian mythology, hit that subscribe button. Comment below, was Bhishma right to refuse a second chance, or did he want to lose? Subscribe to uncover the epics India forgot.